The Ritz-Carlton ballroom sparkled with expensive decorations for my mother's 60th birthday celebration. Crystal champagne flutes clinked as Detroit's elite mingled, all here to celebrate Margaret Williams, renowned surgeon and perfect mother to my successful siblings. I adjusted my understated Brunello Cucinelli blazer, watching my sister Claire hold court near the champagne fountain. Just finished my residency at Mayo Clinic, she bragged to admiring guests. My brother David wasn't far behind, showing off his shiny partnership badge from Goldman Sachs. Victoria, Mom air kissed my cheek as I approached. You made it. I wasn't sure since you're always so busy with whatever it is you do. 15 years of building Apex innovations from my garage to a global tech empire, and she still introduced me as her daughter who does something with computers. Happy birthday, Mom. I handed her a small envelope. Inside was a deed to a private island in the Maldives. Not that she'd appreciate it. Oh, how nice. She tucked it away without opening it. Did you see your sister's new Mercedes? And David's feature in Forbes 30 Under 30 for finance. I bit back a smile, thinking of my own Forbes cover last month, carefully hidden behind shell companies and NDAs. Corporate Titan's secret identity. How one woman built a billion-dollar empire in stealth. Victoria. David's voice boomed across the room. Still playing with your little startup? He sauntered over, Goldman Sachs confidence oozing from his custom Tom Ford suit. If he only knew that Apex technology powered half his firm's trading algorithms. Something like that. I sipped my champagne, noting its mediocre quality. Mental note. Send Mom a case of proper Krug. You should let me invest some of your savings. He lowered his voice conspiratorially. Before you waste it all on your, what do you call it? Tech thing. My phone buzzed. Sarah, my CEO, was calling. I stepped away, leaving David mid-lecture about diversification. Everything's set? I asked quietly. The Morrison merger documents are ready, Sarah confirmed. Final value, $2.4 billion. They're just waiting for your signature. The Morrison deal, our biggest yet. Their cybersecurity infrastructure would complement our AI division perfectly. Plus, they were David's biggest client at Goldman. Hold the final signing until my signal. I smiled, watching my brother brag about his latest deal. I think it's time for a little family education. Victoria. Claire's voice dripped with false sweetness as I rejoined the party. We were just discussing careers. What exactly do you do again? Something with websites. The crowd around her tittered. Mom looked embarrassed, probably wishing I'd followed Claire into medicine instead of becoming the family disappointment. Tell us, dear, Aunt Patricia chimed in. What does one do all day in a startup? I checked my watch. Morrison CEO would be calling any minute. Right on cue, my phone lit up. Excuse me, I smiled. I need to take this. I hit speaker just loud enough for the nearby crowd to hear. Ms. Williams, Morrison CEO's voice rang clear. The board is assembled. We're ready to proceed with the $2.4 billion acquisition whenever you give the word. The silence was immediate. Claire's champagne glass slipped from her fingers, shattering on the marble floor. Did he say billion? Someone whispered. Excellent, I replied calmly. My team will send the final contracts. And David, I turned to my shell-shocked brother, you might want to call your Goldman clients. They'll have new ownership by morning. Mother's perfectly composed face had gone pale. Victoria, what exactly is happening? Before I could answer, the ballroom screens intended for a slideshow of family photos suddenly flickered to life. Breaking news alerts scrolled across financial networks. Breaking. Tech giant Apex Innovations to acquire Morrison Securities in $2.4 billion deal. Mystery CEO of Apex finally revealed? Wall Street stunned by stealth billionaire's latest move. Like I said, I smiled, raising my mediocre champagne. I do something with computers. The room erupted in chaos. Claire dropped her phone. David frantically dialed his Goldman partners. Mom just stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time. My phone buzzed again, Sarah sending the final merger documents for signature. Time to show my family exactly what their little startup had become. The real show was just beginning. The chaos in the Ritz-Carlton ballroom was delicious. Detroit's elite scrambled to Google my company on their phones, while my siblings stood frozen in disbelief. Mother had sunk into a nearby chair, her perfect posture finally cracking. "Ms. Williams," Sarah's voice came through my phone again. "The Morrison board is asking about the integration timeline. And the Wall Street Journal is requesting an exclusive." "Schedule the journal for tomorrow," I replied, loud enough for everyone to hear. "And tell Morrison we'll begin the tech migration next week. My team is already prepped." "Your team?" David had finally found his voice. "What team?" "You work from your apartment." I laughed, pulling out my tablet. With a few taps, the ballroom screens changed to show Apex Innovations' global operations, gleaming office towers in Silicon Valley, Singapore, London, and Dubai. Real-time data showed over 10,000 employees across 23 countries. "That apartment you mocked?" I swiped to show a penthouse office overlooking San Francisco Bay. "Just a quiet place to work when I'm in Detroit. My real office has a slightly better view." Claire pushed through the crowd, her medical credentials suddenly feeling less impressive. But you never said anything. All these years, I cut her off. "You were too busy telling me to get a real job, to notice I was building an empire. Remember last Christmas? When you suggested I take coding classes at the community college?" The screens flashed again, showing headlines from tech magazines. "Apex AI revolutionizes healthcare data analysis. Williams Code transforms industry standards. Tech's most mysterious billionaire strikes again." "Victoria," Mom's voice wavered as she approached. "I don't understand. Why didn't you tell us?" "Tell you what, Mom? That while you were bragging about Claire's residency, I was developing AI that's revolutionizing medical diagnostics. That while you celebrated David's promotion, my company was buying his clients." My phone buzzed continuously now, news alerts, market reactions, meeting requests. The Morrison deal had blown my cover, and the business world was scrambling to understand how they'd missed a billion-dollar player hiding in plain sight. "But your apartment, your clothes." Claire gestured at my understated outfit. "You mean this little ensemble?" I smiled. "Brunello Cucinelli custom-made. Cost more than your Mercedes. I just never felt the need to show off." The screens updated again, this time showing Apex's stock price soaring as news of the Morrison acquisition spread. David stared at the numbers, his Goldman Sachs brain finally processing what he was seeing. You're worth more than everyone in this room combined," I finished for him. "Several times over, actually. Funny how nobody asked about my little startup when I tried to explain machine learning algorithms at family dinners." Sarah's voice came through again. "Your jet is ready for the Singapore meeting tomorrow. And the Bloomberg team is here for the profile piece." Mom's eyes widened at the mention of a private jet. "Singapore? Tomorrow? But it's my birthday weekend." "Don't worry, Mom. I'll send the family jet to pick you up whenever you want to visit." I paused, enjoying her shock. Oh, did I not mention the fleet of aircraft? Must have slipped my mind during all those lectures about finding a stable career. The ballroom had become a circus of whispers and frantically typing fingers as guests updated their social media. Detroit's elite were suddenly realizing they'd been rubbing shoulders with a tech billionaire without knowing it. Ms. Williams, a brave soul from the local business journal, approached. "Could you comment on rumors that Apex is developing quantum computing capabilities?" Before I could answer, David jumped in. "My sister doesn't handle technical questions. She's more on the basic side of tech." "Actually," I smiled, pulling up another set of slides, "I'd be happy to explain our quantum computing division. We're revolutionizing particle entanglement to create stable qubit arrays." "But David, I'll use small words so you can follow along." The screens filled with complex diagrams and equations. Claire's doctor friends huddled together, whispering about Apex's medical AI applications. David's banking colleagues were frantically calling their offices. "You see," I continued, addressing the growing crowd of reporters who had somehow found their way into the party, "while my family thought I was running a cute little website business, I was building the future. Would anyone like to see our latest innovation?" I pulled out a small device from my blazer pocket. With one tap, every screen in the room, every phone, every digital device synchronized into a seamless network. "Apex Unified Quantum Interface," I explained as gasps filled the room. "Just approved by the FCC last week. We're revolutionizing how technology communicates." But But you never went to business school. David protested weakly. No, I agreed. I was too busy inventing new technology, building a company valued at over $50 billion, changing the world while you changed investment portfolios. The room had gone completely silent. Even the servers had stopped to watch the drama unfold. Mom sat clutching her pearls, probably regretting all those times she told relatives I was still finding my way. Now, I checked my watch. If you'll excuse me, I have a merger to complete. Sarah, is the Morrison paperwork ready? Sending to your secure tablet now, her voice replied. Would you like me to announce the quantum interface launch as well? I looked at my family's shocked faces, at the crowd of suddenly adoring guests, at the reporters eagerly awaiting my next word. Why not? I smiled. It's a party after all. Let's give them something to really talk about. Breaking news. Tech titan Victoria Williams reveals revolutionary quantum interface at mother's birthday gala. Apex Innovations stock surges 40% in after-hours trading. I watched the headlines scroll across my tablet as the Ritz-Carlton ballroom transformed from a family celebration into an impromptu press conference. The quantum interface demonstration had drawn every tech reporter in Detroit, while social media exploded with clips of my family's shocked reactions. Victoria, Mom approached tentatively, clutching a printout of my Forbes cover. Why didn't you tell us? All these years. All these years. I raised an eyebrow. Like when I tried to explain my AI breakthroughs at Thanksgiving and you told me to get a real job like your sister? Or last Christmas when David offered to help me understand basic finance? We were just worried about you, Claire interjected, her Mayo Clinic badge suddenly seeming less impressive against my empire. Living in that small apartment, working all hours. That small apartment is the penthouse of a building I own, I corrected her. And those work hours built this. I gestured to the screens showing Apex's global reach. While you were judging my lifestyle, I was revolutionizing technology. My phone buzzed again, Sarah, with more updates. The Morrison board is waiting in the secure conference room. And your brother's Goldman Sachs superiors are requesting an urgent meeting. David's face paled. He just realized that his biggest client was now owned by his unsuccessful sister. Speaking of Goldman, I smiled, pulling up more data on the screens. Let's discuss your firm's dependency on Apex technology. Those trading algorithms you've been bragging about. My little startup designed them. That's impossible, he stammered. Those systems are worth billions. $4.3 billion in licensing fees last year alone, I confirmed. Though you might want to update your resume, David. We're upgrading the system next month and only top-tier firms will have access. The color drained from his face as he frantically dialed his office. Claire, meanwhile, was scrolling through medical journals, finally discovering how many breakthrough studies relied on Apex's medical AI. Your diagnostic support system, she whispered. The one I use every day at Mayo, that's yours. Along with the neural mapping technology you presented at last month's conference, I added. Remember telling Mom how complex it was? Perhaps I could have explained it if anyone had bothered to ask what I actually do. Mom sank deeper into her chair, probably remembering all the time she'd apologetically told relatives her youngest was still figuring things out. The irony that her birthday party had become my company's coming-out celebration wasn't lost on anyone. Ms. Williams, a CNBC reporter pushed forward. Can you comment on rumors that Apex is developing quantum-based medical technology? Before Claire could interject with another condescending comment about my technical knowledge, I pulled up the prototype designs. Our quantum medical imaging system is currently in final FDA trials, I explained, watching my sister's jaw drop. It combines quantum computing with advanced AI to detect diseases years before conventional methods. Claire, your department will be getting the beta version next month. Do try to keep up with the user manual. The screens filled with complex diagrams and clinical trial results. Claire's medical colleagues huddled around, whispering about revolutionizing patient care. David's banking friends were still trying to process how the family failure controlled their industry's technological backbone. But why all the secrecy? Mom finally asked. Why let us think? Think what, Mom? That I was struggling, unsuccessful, a disappointment. I walked to the window looking out over the city I could probably buy several times over. Maybe because every time I tried to share my work, you compared it to Claire's medical degree or David's banking career. It was easier to let you believe what you wanted while I built something extraordinary. Sarah's voice came through again. The Morrison CEO is getting impatient. And the quantum interface announcement has added another $10 billion to our market cap. Speaking of which, I turned back to the room. I should finish this merger. Mom, sorry to overshadow your birthday, but business calls. Wait. David stepped forward, his Goldman confidence replaced by desperate calculation. Maybe we could discuss some family investment opportunities. Family. I laughed. Like when you told your investment friends not to waste time on my amateur proposals. Or when you warned them about my lack of business acumen? The screens showed clips from various business shows, all discussing Apex's revolutionary approach to corporate stealth and success. 15 years of building in secret, letting my family's dismissal serve as the perfect cover. Ms. Williams, Sarah interrupted again, your jet to Singapore is awaiting final departure clearance. And the Morrison board. Tell them 5 minutes, I replied, then addressed the room of reporters. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll excuse me, I have a $2.4 billion merger to complete. Mom, I turned to my shell-shocked mother. I'll have my team send over the island deed paperwork. Happy birthday. As I walked toward the exit, Claire called out, Victoria, wait. Maybe we could discuss collaborating on medical research. Have your department head call my office, I replied without turning around. Like everyone else. The crowd parted as I walked through, reporters shouting questions, guests scrambling for attention, my family standing frozen in their shattered assumptions. At the door I paused. Oh, and Mom? Next year's party can be on my island. If you can handle the jet ride.